The sun is a nuclear furnace converting 600 million tons of hydrogen into helium every single second. Its core burns at 27 million degrees Fahrenheit, so hot that a pinhead-sized piece of it would kill everything within 100 miles. It has been doing this for 4.6 billion years, without missing a single beat, powering every rainstorm, every harvest, every heartbeat on this planet. Now imagine that at exactly noon tomorrow, it simply stops. No explosion, no warning, no dramatic flare. The sun just goes dark. A switch flipped off in the sky. Light travels from the sun to Earth in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So for those 8 minutes, nobody knows. People are eating lunch, sitting in traffic, scrolling their phones. Then, at 12:08 p.m., the sky goes black. And for the next 24 hours, humanity faces its longest night. The first thing people notice is not the darkness. It is the silence. Birds stop singing instantly. Ornithologists have documented that birds rely on light cues so heavily that a total solar eclipse makes them go quiet in seconds. Now multiply that by infinity. Every bird on the daylight side of Earth roosts simultaneously. Dogs howl, a primal response to something deeply fundamentally wrong. Cows begin walking back to their barns. Insects go still. The entire animal kingdom, tuned to 4.6 billion years of solar regularity, simultaneously enters a state of confused panic. But humans panic differently. Within 90 seconds of the sky going dark at noon, every emergency line on the planet is jammed. The United States alone receives 240 million 911 calls per year under normal conditions, about 660,000 per day. In those first 90 seconds, that number is exceeded 10 times over. Systems crash. Dispatchers hear nothing but screaming. Here is a critical fact most people get wrong. The Earth would not freeze immediately, not even close. Our planet has enormous thermal mass. The atmosphere weighs 5.5 quadrillion tons and acts like a thick blanket wrapped around the globe. The oceans contain so much stored heat that they could warm the entire atmosphere by 100 degrees if released all at once. In the first hour, surface temperatures drop by only about 2 degrees Fahrenheit. You would not even need a jacket. The ocean temperature would barely budge. Water has 4 times the heat capacity of air, so the first few hours are not about cold. They are about fear. The real danger is purely psychological. Grocery stores are looted within the first 2 hours. Gas stations run dry within 3. Humans do not handle unexplained darkness at lunchtime very well. By hour 3, the daytime side of Earth is now as dark as a moonless night in the countryside. Actually darker, because there is no moonlight either. The moon produces zero light of its own. It is just a giant rock reflecting sunlight, and with no sunlight to reflect, it vanishes from the sky completely. The only light sources left are stars, cities, and fires. And the fires come quickly. People light candles, and within the first 3 hours, residential fires spike 800% in major cities. Streetlights come on everywhere, triggered by their photosensors detecting darkness. But here is the problem. Power grids were designed for predictable load patterns. Nighttime electricity demand happens when most people are sleeping. Now, every light, every screen, every heating system is running at full daytime capacity in total darkness. Power grids across Europe and North America begin showing dangerous strain levels. Blackouts cascade through weaker sections first. Traffic becomes lethal. Even with headlights on, the sudden permanent darkness creates driving conditions no one has trained for. Ambient daylight normally provides depth perception and peripheral awareness that headlights cannot replicate. Within 4 hours, traffic accidents spike 300% globally. The World Health Organization estimates 3,700 people die in road crashes every normal day. That number triples in just 4 hours. Aviation faces an even worse crisis. Visual flight rules, which most small aircraft depend on, become impossible. The FAA grounds all VFR traffic immediately, but private pilots already airborne must land in total darkness with no horizon reference. At least 40 small planes crash in the United States alone. Commercial aviation switches to instrument-only operations, but airports become dangerously congested as every flight demands precision approaches. Maritime navigation goes haywire as ships lose visual references. The global transportation system does not collapse, but it slows to a terrified crawl. 6 hours in, and the temperature has dropped 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Now it is noticeable everywhere. People in tropical regions, Jakarta, Lagos, Bogota, who have never experienced cold weather are confused and scared. Many equatorial cities do not even sell winter clothing. People wrap themselves in bedsheets and curtains. But the real crisis hits places that were already cold. Northern Russia, Canada, and Scandinavia, where temperatures started at 10 or 15 degrees, are now plunging below zero. Wind chill makes it far worse. Moscow, a city of 12 million, drops to -15. Homeless populations face a death sentence measured in hours, not days. Shelters already overcrowded become dangerously packed. Heating systems across the northern hemisphere shift from comfort appliances to life support equipment. Natural gas demand spikes so hard that pipeline pressure drops in some regions. The solar panel industry goes dark, literally. Solar energy provides about 4.5% of global electricity, and that vanishes instantly. But here is what most people do not realize. That is not the biggest energy problem. Natural gas plants, coal plants, and nuclear reactors keep running fine. They do not need sunlight. The 440 nuclear reactors worldwide become the most reliable power source on Earth. The lights stay on in most of the developed world. The real crisis hits countries that had gone heavily solar. Parts of India, where solar capacity grew 30-fold in a decade, lose a quarter of their grid. Australia, Morocco, Chile, and Spain face similar shortfalls. Their grids lose significant capacity at the exact moment demand for heating and lighting spikes. Rolling blackouts begin in New Delhi, Marrakech, and Santiago. Diesel generators, normally backups, become primary power sources and start running out of fuel within hours. 12 hours in, the halfway point, and something strange happens to the human mind. People on the nighttime side of Earth, when the sun went dark, had their normal evening, then their normal night, and now half of what should have been their next day. All in total unbroken darkness. They have been in the dark for 18 consecutive hours. Cave isolation experiments show that after about 14 hours of continuous darkness, humans experience measurable psychological deterioration. Anxiety spikes. Decision-making degrades, paranoia sets in, circadian rhythms, those internal clocks controlled by light exposure, go haywire. The pineal gland, confused by the endless night, floods the brain with melatonin. People feel bone-deep exhaustion but are too terrified to close their eyes. Some begin hallucinating, a documented response to prolonged darkness combined with stress. Emergency rooms report a 400% increase in psychiatric admissions. Humanity is not just scared, it is starting to unravel. Religious reactions are seismic. Every major religion has prophecies about the sun going dark, and everyone activates simultaneously. Christians reference Matthew 24:29. The sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. Muslims point to Surah At-Takwir in the Quran, describing the sun folded up as a sign of the end times. Hindu texts describe Surya's chariot stopping, plunging the world into cosmic night. Jewish eschatology speaks of a day of darkness before redemption. Within hours, churches, mosques, temples, and synagogues overflow to a degree not seen since medieval plagues. Emergency baptisms spike globally. Priests perform thousands per hour. Confession lines stretch around city blocks. Cult leaders across 6 continents declare the end times. Televangelists see their highest ratings in broadcasting history, which carries a dark irony. Many satellites carrying their broadcasts rely on solar-powered transponders now running on battery reserves. 18 hours in, temperatures have dropped 25 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit from the starting point. The effects are no longer just uncomfortable, they are becoming dangerous. Tropical regions are experiencing something unprecedented in recorded history: winter-like conditions at the equator. The Amazon rainforest, normally a steady 85 degrees, hovers around 55. Not deadly to humans, but this ecosystem evolved in stable warmth for millions of years. Cold-blooded reptiles become sluggish and immobile. Tropical insects die by the billions. Photosynthesis has been halted for 18 hours across the planet. Plants do not die this fast. Most have energy reserves stored as starch for days or weeks. But every greenhouse operator, every botanical garden curator, every agricultural corporation is scrambling to provide artificial grow lights. The global food system has not collapsed yet, but agricultural futures markets, some trading floors operating by candlelight, are in free fall. 22 hours in, 2 hours to go, but nobody knows that. That is the real torture, the not knowing. Is the sun coming back in an hour, a day, ever? Governments have no explanation. Press conferences are held under fluorescent lights by exhausted leaders reading statements that amount to, "We do not know." Astronomers confirm through infrared and radio telescopes that the sun still exists. Its mass is there, its gravity holding the planets in orbit. It is just not emitting visible light or heat. Some astrophysicists theorize a temporary solar phenomenon never observed before. Others quietly gather in university offices and calculate how long humanity could survive without the sun. The answer is grim. Roughly 2 months before surface temperatures reach minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Within a year, the oceans freeze from the surface down. Within 5 years, Earth becomes an ice ball drifting through space. And then, at exactly 12:08 p.m. the next day, 24 hours after it vanished, sunlight hits the atmosphere again. The first golden rays break over the horizon and flood back into the sky. The sunrise is the most watched event in human history. 8 billion people weep simultaneously. Strangers embrace in the streets. But the world that sunlight illuminates has changed. In just one day, an estimated 15,000 people have died from accidents, fires, cold exposure, and panic. Economic losses exceed $2 trillion. Something has shifted in every person alive. We have learned what we had collectively forgotten. Every farm, every meal, every degree of warmth, every blooming flower, every breath of oxygen from photosynthesis, every living thing on this planet exists, because one medium-sized star in a galaxy of 200 billion stars has not missed a single day in 4.6 billion years. How long until we stop taking that for granted again?